What's the best return on your investment when preparing your home for sale? We're going to talk about 6 things that you can do that have the highest return on investment. My name's Travis Anderson. I work with home buyers and home sellers in Minnesota and Western Wisconsin. Let's get right into the video. In this video, let's talk about a case study about the 6 things that you can do that have the highest return on your investment when selling a home here in Minnesota and in Western Wisconsin. And we're going to talk about a recent client that I had. Number 1 is going to be landscaping. Now, look, research shows that a buyer decides if they're willing to make an offer on a home within the first 30 seconds. In other words, when a buyer is pulling into the driveway, walking up to the front door, if the home is a mess from that point forward, it's very unlikely that they're going to consider writing an offer. So adding a little bit of landscaping, a little bit of color, cleaning up the mulch, cleaning up the rock, pulling the weeds, etc., putting fertilizer on the yard, these types of things, it's going to make your home look that much better for the buyer. It's stuff we can do on our own. It's very limited cost, maybe under a couple $100, maybe $1,000, and you're going to get a really big return in your investment. Now, what my clients did here is they went ahead and fertilized their lawn, they pulled some weeds, and they really made their landscaping shine. Let's talk about number 2. It's going to be painting. Anytime you're considering painting a home, you as a seller, you're wondering this. What if I choose the wrong paint color? What if a buyer doesn't like my paint color? What if I paint a room that the buyer wouldn't have painted? Those aren't the questions that we should be asking. There's 2 questions that a buyer is going to ask when they walk into your home. What do I need to do, and how much is that going to cost me? And everyone knows that a seller can paint for a lot less than a buyer thinks the cost of paint is. So I would advise you to touch up the walls where necessary. If you've got colors that just don't work, let's go ahead and address those colors. Now, the main areas, the main living areas, the kitchen and bathrooms, that's where you would start. And then the primary bedroom. Kids' bedrooms, laundry rooms, closets, they get a big pass when we talk about paint, but let's make sure that we're addressing those living areas. Now, what my clients did here over in this home is we had sort of a nice neutral green color throughout the whole main living area, and it just sort of made it feel a little bit smaller. So what we talked about doing is painting 1 or 2 walls in that main living area to make it feel a little bit more spacious. And we picked a nice neutral tone. The other area that we painted is there was a bedroom that was a dark, bright blue color. We went ahead and painted that a neutral color. And then there was one more room that was bright red. All 4 walls were bright red. We left one wall red and we painted the others. Now, for just a few $100s, it totally changed the look and feel of their home, and we absolutely maximized our return on investment. Number 3, when we're talking about return on investment, we're going to look at the flooring. New flooring in a home totally changes the feel of it. It even changes the smell that you have in a home. So this is something, if you need new flooring, don't wait for a buyer to do that. Do it yourself. You're going to get a really good return on your investment. If you don't need new flooring, a buyer doesn't think you need it anyways, so don't even worry about it. But if you need new flooring and you've got carpet that's tattered or you have floors that are worn and beaten up, look, you're going to get a really good bang for your buck. This particular client that we're talking about here, they had flooring that was in what I would say above average condition. And then in their basement, they had a couple of stains. We attended to those stains because the carpet was in really good shape. We didn't see the value in actually replacing it. So the best we did there is we went ahead and cleaned it really, really good. The next biggest return on your buck is going to be your lighting and your hardware. Now, if you walk into any new construction home or you're watching HGTV, all of these homes have brand new hardwares, brand new doorknobs, brand new kitchen sinks, obviously. And these types of things are really attractive, and buyers really gravitate towards homes that have that new, shinier feel to it. Nothing changes the feel of a home faster than the lighting and the hardware. So this is something that you get a really good return on your investment. Now, again, with this listing that we're talking about, that client had actually already started the hardware in their home. We just went ahead and finished it. So they had already done the doorknobs on their main level where they lived and enjoyed over the last few years. We went ahead and changed the doorknobs in every single room in the home. He went above and beyond and actually changed the hinges as well. That was beyond my recommendation, but it did turn out really, really nice. And I think there was a faucet or maybe 2 faucets that we swapped out that were there originally when the home was built in 2000. And so we swapped those out to look a little bit more modern. Really good return on your investment. The 5th thing is going to be your appliances. Now, again, Buyers do like new and shiny. And so when we're looking at our kitchen, if our kitchen has old appliances that are sort of like outdated, maybe the functionality isn't up to kind of the current standard, that's something that I would look into replacing. Now, the cost to do appliances, you don't have to go $5,000 or $10,000, depending on the price of your home, but most of the time we can get away with this for about $2,000 to maybe $4,000 on average when we're replacing the kitchen appliances. I'm not talking about replacing your washer and dryer. I think because of the functionality and the look of those, they just need to work. I'm talking about the changing the look and feel of your kitchen. That will increase the perceived value of your home. And again, if your appliances, quote unquote, need to be replaced in the eyes of a buyer, I would rather you replace them and save the money and then get a better return on your investment, because a buyer always thinks it's going to be substantially more. With this particular seller, here's what we did. We went and looked at every single home that we were competing with in that price range, and every single one of them had stainless steel appliances. There wasn't a single home for sale in our price range that didn't have stainless steel appearing appliances. And so what my client did is they went ahead and spent a couple $1,000s on those appliances. We definitely didn't break the bank, but now when a buyer's looking through photos, we competed perfectly well with the rest of them. Instead of having that off-white, it was sort of like an almond tone that he had had for about 10 years. The last thing that we should be looking at here from a return on investment standpoint is our kitchens and bathrooms a refresh. I'm not talking about a complete remodel. I'm talking about refreshing your kitchen and your bathrooms. And so again, when we're looking at what a buyer is going to expect the value of your home to be, they're going to want functionality, they're going to want it to be shinier, and they're going to want the kitchen and the bathrooms to not be too expensive for them. Anytime a buyer walks into a home, if they think they have to remodel a kitchen or a bathroom, I mean, they're just ding, 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 ding in their head, right? $5,000, $10,000, $50,000. These numbers go through their head like it's nothing. I mean, I've got clients who've remodeled their kitchen for upwards of $100,000. Now you can refresh a kitchen, right? You can add a backsplash or change the countertops. Again, the appliances, you can maybe paint the center island. There's these things that we can do that can drastically change the feel of our kitchen for like $1,500 or something like that, instead of doing a complete kitchen remodel. Same thing goes with bathrooms. Again, we already talked about hardware, but maybe we're swapping out a vanity. Maybe we're taking that big unframed mirror down, we're cutting it in half and we're framing it around above the vanity, and we're doing a new paint job in there or something. And if you're going to get a really big return on your investment, a really big bang for your buck, kitchens and bathrooms are a great place to kind of finish with once you've gone through these other things that we're talking about here. What my clients did over here is we removed a little bit of the wallpaper, painted our bathroom, changed out our faucets, and then we added a little bit of hardware to the cabinets, and it totally changed the look and feel of that bathroom. It no longer, quote unquote, needed to be done, and now a buyer could update it as they felt. Now, hey, listen, we talked about the top 6 things that would be the best return on your investment on your home. If you've got a property that you're looking to sell here in the future, do me a favor. Give me a call, shoot me a text, hit me up in the comment section. And as always, all my best to you and yours.